area. For that reason, the Morning Call and the Evening Chronicle and the Sunday Call Chronicle have tried throughout the year 1959 to bring to their readers the most complete and comprehensive sports coverage possible. In the film you are about to see, the sports highlights of another year are graphically and thrillingly presented. You will recognize in it scores of stories and pictures these newspapers are bringing to your homes each day. What you will not see are the thousands of stories and pictures of local sports events, which also make up an important part of the Call Chronicle newspaper coverage. We like to think the completeness of the sports pages in these newspapers is one of the reasons why they are welcomed each day in more than 100,000 Lehigh Valley homes. The year 1960, like the year 1959, will have its share of the great thrills good sportsmanship produces the world over. As we have in the past, the Call Chronicle newspapers plan to bring you each morning and evening throughout the year the best sports pages it is possible for our staff to produce.
United Press Movietone presents the Sports Review of 1959. Sports 59 was a year spiced with surprise, a period of change that launched new stars, a season of thunder that produced smashing upsets, a time of shock as old champions fell, in short, a year of the unexpected. In college football, Syracuse fielded the team of the year, and the Orange men fooled the experts who had low-rated them at season start. Syracuse, with the ball, was not only unbeaten and untied, but also dominated the statistics, both on offense and on defense. The Syracuse line, called the Sizable Seven, gave its razzle-dazzle backfield plenty of romping room and opened huge holes for breakaways such as this run by Gershwades. With this blocking, even Urat Many could have scored. Syracuse had its closest call against Penn State, whose slippery scatback Roger Kaufman shook loose for a 100-yard kickoff return. Despite this gallop, Syracuse skinned the Nittany Lions 20-18. After this win, it was all downhill as the Orange rolled to Team of the Year honors. Among the other highlights was the line smashing of Wisconsin's Ron Burton. The All-America Flash led his team to the Rose Bowl with jaunts such as this 68-yarder against Northwestern. For the second year in a row, Billy Cannon of Louisiana State topped the United Press Movietone All-America poll. Billy, a triple threat halfback, sparkled on defense and sizzled on offense. He seemed to save his best performances for the chips down situations. One such occasion came when LSU played Mississippi. Late in the game, Billy gathered in a punt and sprinted 89 yards for this touchdown, shaking off tacklers all the way. It proved to be the clutch play for LSU won 7-3. Billy Cannon, college football's best. In the pro ranks, the standout was Charlie Connerly, quarterback of the New York Giants. Though a football graybeard at 38, he was still his team's scoring spirit, along with Pat Summerall, a field goal specialist. With Charlie's passing and Pat's kicking, the Giants had a potent attack to add to their superlative defensive line, a championship combination. Summerall clicked for 19 field goals in his first 25 attempts and led the league scorers. In one game, Pat's toe accounted for all the New York scoring, and he personally whipped the Cards 9-3. Chicago's John Crow ripped off gains of 73 and 76 yards, but oddly enough, neither of his long runs led to touchdowns. With the season's stick-out plays, include this ramble by Lou Carpenter of the Green Bay Packers, 55 yards for a TD against Baltimore. In the same contest, Green Bay's Max McGee snatched a pass and scooted 81 yards to pay dirt. The Packers may have produced the sensational plays, but Baltimore won the game. In another tilt, here's a sweet run by Johnny Morris, Chicago Bears. A 51-yard scoring sprint, one of the highlights of the past football season. In 1959, Sword Dancer unexpectedly became king of the sport of kings. The small colt from Brookmead Stables clinched his crown in the rich Woodward Stakes to climax a year-long uphill climb. Second in the Derby, second in the Preakness, and first in the Belmont, Sword Dancer faced his greatest test in the Woodward. He met it brilliantly by defeating Hillsdale and Round Table at 1.25 miles in the race of the year. In the home stretch, Round Table is third, while Sword Dancer on the rail and Hillsdale on the outside fight for the lead. They're neck and neck, matching stride for stride, till Eddie Arcaro, whipping left-handed, rides Sword Dancer along the rail to victory by a nose. Round Table, a poor third, lost to the Brookmead colt again later in the season and was retired to stud. But Sword Dancer is looking forward to a campaign as a 4-year-old and a chance to defend his title, King of the Turf. Auto racing also had its share of thrills, along with some incredible spills. It happens in the Belgian Grand Prix. The driver is bruised, but that's about all. How lucky can you get? Now America's top auto race, the 500-mile grind at Indianapolis. At first it seemed the race was jinxed, for 2 drivers were killed in training accidents. But strangely enough, the run itself turned out to be fairly tame. Of course, there were several mishaps, but no fatalities as luck rode the wheels. The most spectacular crack-up comes on the 47th lap, when Mike McGill's racer hurdles over another car and then flips over. Injuries minor. In a second crash, Ray Crawford spins out of control. Injuries minor. About the halfway mark, Roger Ward in number 5 takes the lead. With the aid of a speedy pit crew, he struggles to maintain his margin. He's a dark horse entry, not one of the favorites, but Ward fights the form chart and in the process sets a record pace for the Indy, 135.8 miles per hour. At the finish, it's Ward in front by a neat 23 seconds. The victory purse for owner, crew, and driver is over $100,000. And from this triumph, Roger Ward, once little known, goes on to become the year's big car champion. A trail of golden glory that began at Indianapolis. In high jumping, John Thomas is the very most. The tall, gangling teenager went into orbit last winter at 7 feet 1 1/4 inches, a world mark. Slow motion makes his skill seem just what it is, smooth as silk. Thomas, who competes for Boston University, was the phenom of the indoor track season. No one could top him. Then in the spring, he hurt his foot in an accident. However, in recent workouts, he's jumping as easily and as high as ever. John Thomas, an American answer to Russia's Looney. In basketball, the Boston Celtics have all the answers with Tom Heinsohn, Deadeye Bill Sharman, reliable Frank Ramsey, Big Bill Russell, 6'10", who treats the backboards as his personal domain, and Bob Cousy, field general of this wonder team, and perhaps the most adept basketball player of all time. With Cousy setting the pace, the Celtics are the terrors of the pro game. In one tilt last year, they scored an astounding total of 173 points. Last season, the Celts won their second straight NBA championship, but trouble is brewing for them. Trouble in the form of Wilt Chamberlain, who makes even Russell look short. Wilt the Stilt is 7'2" and a rookie on the Philadelphia Warriors. In his early duels with Russell, he's played the Celts center even up and better, and bids fair to become the #1 rebounder and scorer in pro ball. Despite his stretched frame, Chamberlain is quick and strong and fast developing a wider variety of shots to torture the players assigned to guard him. If he stays hot, he could lead his Warriors to the overthrow of the Boston Celtics dynasty. A big job, but Wilt the Stilt is just the right size for it. The big man in tennis last year was Australia's Neil Fraser, who dominated the amateur ranks and won the Davis Cup for his country. Fraser's only serious threat came from Peru's Alex Olmedo, who represented the U.S., but the blonde Aussie beat the son of the Incas to a frazzle. Their last head-to-head bout was at Forest Hills, with the American Singles Championship up for grabs. Fraser, a left-handed swinger, is in the back court as Olmedo makes his last stand. At year's start, the Peruvian Panther was the toast of tennis, won the Wimbledon title, but careless play and poor attitude has wasted his talents, and now he needs this win to salvage his reputation. Point for Fraser. Fraser, serving forecourt now, soon wraps up his titles, 6'3", 5'7", 6'2", and 6'4". Several months later, Olmedo turns pro. But Fraser, who zoomed to prominence with amazing speed, seems destined to rule the amateurs for another year at least. On the fairways, the top money winner was Art Wall, a pro from Pennsylvania. Using his odd baseball grip, he fired inspired golf from one end of 59 to the other. Along with greenbacks, Wall harvested prestige by winning the most esteemed Masters tourney. His 12-foot birdie putt caps a fantastic final round and a one-stroke victory. A Masters jacket for Art Wall, who came of age as a golfer this semester. Next, the queen of the tee, Betsy Rawls, who set an earnings record for women's pro golf. $26,700 and change. Betsy has every shot in the book and then some, which indicates a lot of study by the girl who majored in physics in college and was a Phi Beta Kappa. In all, Betsy won 10 tournaments last year. In this one, the triangle round robin, Bonnie Randolph puts her way into third place. Louise Suggs finishes second with a fine chip shot, which would have gone in if not for the flag. Betsy, with a comfortable lead, plays it safe with a final two-putt. This comet from Spartansburg currency, but has cornered the market in hardware as well. In a year of the unexpected, weightlifting provided some of the more improbable sights at this meet in France. The list to port and away he goes. Timber! Well, there's always one in every one of the champions of the year in sports. Baseball came up with many surprises in '59. One was the start of a third major loop. Bill Shea did the spade work as 5 cities founded the Continental League, with Venerable Branch Rickey its first president. The CL originally planned to begin play in 1961, but its problems are still many, including little cooperation from Baseball Commissioner Frick and the American and National Leagues. No newborn ever had a harder struggle for life. Casey Stengel also had troubles. where his mighty Yankees took a shocking dive into third place. New York's big-name stars, beset by injuries and poor morale, had bad seasons. And on May 20th, the Yanks tumbled into last place for the first time in 19 years. The ex-world champs improved somewhat, but still finished 15 games off the pace. The amazing turn of events left the once imperturbable Casey still scratching his head in disbelief, for next year may be just as bad. While the Yanks bungled, Chicago's White Sox won their first American League pennant in 40 years. In the senior circuit, the Dodgers whipped the Braves in a dramatic playoff for the flag. And so, the World Series rival managers are Walt Alston and Al Lopez. However, Ted Kluszewski provides all the strategy needed in Game 1 with his big bat. The beefy Chi Sox first baseman clubs 2 homers, but he needn't have worked so hard. The Dodgers, fatigued by their hard flag chase, seemed eager to give the game away. The nightmare begins after Ted's first blast. Chicago's Sherm Lawler follows with a fly to left that Wally Moon and Duke Snyder mangle. Moments later, when Al Smith smacks a double, Snyder combines with Gil Hodges for another boo-boo. The comedy of errors continues with Charlie Neal's wild peg, and Chicago wins the opener 11-0. After this disaster, the Dodgers won the next 3 games, one in Chicago and the others back home in Los Angeles, where every crowd was a record 92,000 plus. What revived the sagging Dodgers was a nip of sherry, pitcher Larry Sherry, whose relief work salvaged all 3 contests. The young hurler was just too strong for Chicago's hitless wonders. He mowed them down like so many little leaguers, and the Go-Go Sox were just about all gone. Chicago rallied to win Game 5. But back at Comiskey Park for Game 6, the Sox unraveled completely. LA's veteran Duke Snyder strikes the first blow, a long wrong field homer that also scores Wally Moon. However, the worst is yet to come, for in the next stanza, the 4th, the rampaging Dodgers notch half a dozen more runs. Early Wynn is on the mound for Chicago as Norm Larker slaps a single to start the massacre. A flurry of base knocks follow, including a shot by LA shortstop Maury Wills. Pitcher Johnny Padres chimes in with a towering double to center as the runs pour in relentlessly. Wynn is rocked off the rubber. His relief is Dick Donovan, but the demolition continues unabated with Neal's 2-base drive. Moon's round tripper completes the inning's carnage. Los Angeles has an 8-0 bulge, and when Chicago manages a last-gasp rally in its half of the 4th, Larry Sherry rides again. He takes over LA's pitching chores and safeguards the game. The final score shows the Dodgers with a 9-3 victory as they win the World Series 4-2. Individual hero, of course, is Sherry, whose fastball won 2 games and saved the other 2. But the team deserves its special accolade, too, for the Dodgers are the only Major League club ever to finish 7th one season and win the World Championship the next. One of the keynote feats of '59. Meanwhile, back at Yankee Stadium, the year's first sports spectacular was called the North American Ski Championships, but it was really more or less a test of the facilities of Squaw Valley, California, site of the upcoming Winter Olympic Games. As such, the dry run was ignored by the best European skiers, and so the competition was second-rate. Some of the installations, dangerous and uncertain, were also second-rate. However, on the whole, the multi-million-dollar Squaw Valley complex passed its test by a 14-nation field that lived dangerously. With the top Europeans absent, America won 9 out of 18 events. Buddy Werner of Steamboat Springs, Colorado, led the way with downhill and slalom victories for the men's Alpine Combined Championship. The going will be tougher in the Olympics, but Werner thrives on competition. Second spectacular was the Russia-American track meet in Philadelphia. As expected, the U.S. men won their end, while the Soviet girls dominated the distaff side. Nina Ponomarova and company, sturdy specimens all, nabbed 8 out of 10 gold medals in a powerhouse display. For the conquering U.S. men, Greg Bell took the broad jump with a leap of 26 feet 7 inches, second longest in track history. California's Ray Norton was the meet's only triple winner. He placed first in the 100-meter dash, this 200-meter race, and anchored the triumphant 400-meter relay. He not only outran the Russians, but excelled in several other meets as well to establish himself as the fastest man of 59. Ray Norton. In the javelin, Al Cantello's go-for-broke style gave him the best toss. Earlier in the year, he set a world mark for this event. Surprisingly, the race that erupted with the most drama was the normally dull 10,000 meters, which is just over 6 miles. 4 men started, but 2 collapsed en route, and only the winner, Russia's precision-striding Alexei Dezhechikov, finished in really sound condition. After him came the most startling sight of the meet, the weird dance of Russia's Hubert Piarnikivi as he staggered to the finish line, exhausted in body but undaunted in spirit. Chicago staged the final spectacular, the Pan American Games, which turned out to be a spectacular slaughter. For the U.S. won 3/4 of all the events in 27 sports. Hardly a good neighbor policy. In women's swimming, for example, 15-year-old Chris Von Salsa earned 5 gold medals. The California cutie won 3 freestyle races on her own, the 100, 200, and 400 meters, and then anchored 2 winning relay teams. Miss Von Salsa's teammates weren't left in her wake either, for the U.S. girls didn't lose a single event in this sport. Among the other star mermaids were teenagers Becky Collins and Sylvia Ruska. In looks or speed, she's a winner, Chris Von Salsa. Another winner is Gary Tobayan. He outperformed entries from 23 other nations for the Pan Am springboard title. Paula Jean Myers-Pope, a 4-time AAU diving queen, also made a big splash in Chicago, winning both the springboard and platform diving crowns. She rules the pool with royal grace. A fitting finale to this chapter, spectacularly talented Paula Jean. This cast gave boxing its biggest bang. Ingemar Johansson from Sweden, Bill Rosenson and Floyd Patterson. The plot began last January. Johansson, a relative unknown, signs to fight Patterson, then heavyweight champ and an immediate 5-1 favorite. Rosenson is the boy promoter of this bout and one of the few who believe in the Swedish slugger. As the workouts start, Johansson doesn't help his own case much. He seldom exhibits that now famous right-hand punch and indulges in parties with midnight snacks of pickled herring and ice cream. Despite this, or perhaps because of this training regimen, Ingo delivers the goods on June 25th. 7 knockdowns of Patterson for a 3rd-round KO that blows boxing wide open. The upset makes Ingo an international hero as well as heavyweight champ and thrills Birgit Lundgren, his secretary. Afterwards, Ingo tells all.
Well, champ, what did it? What was the winning punch?
Certainly my right hand.
You weren't using your right hand in training that anybody could see, but it seemed to be ready. Do you need to train with your right hand, or is it always good?
I used my right hand in training. After I hit my right hand on the bag. That's enough for me. I know when I have the right feeling, I can hit.
Later, Rosenson revealed some skullduggery behind the promotion of the fight, and the New York State Athletic Commission cracks down on Patterson's manager, Cus D'Amato. Charging Cus with illegal maneuvers, the commission revokes his license, in effect bans him from boxing in New York. The license of Rosenson is suspended for 3 years. Only for Ingo, the new champ, does everything remain roses. Another boxer still in bloom is ancient Archie Moore, who this year hit another peak in his storied career. Archie, wearing striped trunks, began fighting as a pro in the mid-30s. One of his early victims was Ron Richards, whom he beat in this Australian fight some 20 years ago. Archie reached the big money in 1952 when he won the light heavyweight title. He's now defended 8 times successfully. In 1953, he clobbered Argentina's Rinaldo Anceloni. In June 1955, he decked challenger Bovo Olsen with a vicious assault in round 3. In 1958, Yvonne Durrell gave Moore a scare by flooring him 4 times in their title bout. But Moore rallied and bombed out Durrell in the 11th. In a return match in '59, Archie axed the French-Canadian fisherman again. For a man nearing 50, the champ was in excellent shape as he flattened Durrell. It was Moore's 128th knockout, tops in boxing history. Archie credits his amazing condition to secrets he got from Australian bushmen. Surely he learned to punch from the medieval battering rams of his youth. In November, Durrell lost another fight to George Chuvalo and retired from the ring. But like Old Man River, ancient Archie just keeps rolling along. Now in slow motion, here's one of the more animated bouts of the recent campaign. Henry Cooper destroying Joe Erskine in a London bloodletting for a successful defense of his British Empire heavyweight crown. Only 5 seconds of the round remain as Erskine goes bye-bye. And so Cooper is awarded a mere technical knockout, indicating that '59 was surely the year of the unexpected in sports.
You have just seen a presentation of the thrilling events of 1959. Throughout all of 1960, these newspapers will bring you similar coverage of whatever happened. And here you see one of more than 1,400 newspaper boys who will be bringing you the Morning Call, the Evening Chronicle, and the Sunday Call Chronicle throughout the next 12 months.